Audible offers an incredible selection of audiobooks across every genre.
As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. The time is now, more than ever, to embrace the breathtaking, sinister, and shocking tales that have enthralled you, especially with brand new exclusive thrillers from best-selling authors who are guaranteed to keep you gripped.
Right now, one thing that I'm very interested in taking a listen to is The Daughters of Block Island, which is currently #1 on the mystery, thriller, and suspense list. So that is definitely going into my queue. New members can try Audible free for 30 days.
Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500.
The Coca-Cola Company, Keurig Dr. Pepper, and PepsiCo are bringing consumers more choices with less sugar than ever before. In fact, nearly 60% of beverages sold contain zero sugar. Visit balanceus.org to learn more.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car or a house. It's the four wheels that get you where you're going and the four walls that welcome you home. When you combine auto and home insurance with Amica, we'll help protect it all. And the more you cover, the more you can save. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben. That's Ronnie. What's going on, Ronnie? How are you today?
Hello, how are you? I'm great. I'm in the same clothes as I was yesterday. That used to mean that I was partying, but now it just means I'm extremely lazy. Okay?
Good for you. Good for you. Well, time is running out. Next week, our shows in Europe begin. London, Dublin, Birmingham. You know the drill. If you don't know the drill, we're doing shows. And the tickets are at watchwhatcrappens.com. London is pretty much sold out. And but we still have tickets in Birmingham and Dublin, so go check those shows out. We're going to have a great time, and we're covering some of our favorite Real Housewives European trip episodes. So in London, we are talking about Amsterdam, the Amsterdam episode on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 5 with Lisa Rinna, Kim Richards. You know all about that one. In Dublin, we're doing Ireland, which is, of course, the famous one where Kelly Dodd shoved Tamara off camera and they had a big fight in Ireland.
That one's called Real Housewives of Orange County, Shamrocks and Shockwaves. That's season 11, episode 15.
I don't know. I can never remember the name of that one. And then the last one is The Case of the Vickies in Iceland, which is, what season is that, Ronnie?
Season 12, episode 17. And you can find these on our Instagram. There's a post that says Crappens in Europe. Just go look at the description there and you'll find them. And so you can watch them before the show. You should be able to find these on HeyYou and on Peacock. And we'll see you the next couple of weeks, little rascals.
Yeah, and go to our Patreon, patreon.com/watchforcrappens. We just recorded a bonus episode talking about... Well, we started talking about packing for Europe and our excitement for Europe and what we're going to do for Europe. And then we have a detour into our fears about what's happening to our bodies as we hit middle age. But, aside from that, it's a really uplifting
packing, minutia, and death. So
yeah,
join
all
us.
Those things.
Join us for that.
But today it is time for the Vanderpump Rules reunion part 1. It is finally here after so much hype. So let's just dive right on into it, okay? The reunion starts with Andy and Lisa in the dressing room, and he's like, "Hey, Lisa, did you see the last few episodes of the show?" She's like, "Oh, no, I haven't seen the final piece of the last episode yet." Like, "Ha, ha, well, we're all going to watch it together. Ha, 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 you're all going to cry."
So that is the big shocker. We've heard that there's a shocker coming, and this is it. Lala's been on interview after interview being like, "It is iconic. What's happened to us in the finale. It's never been done before. So everyone is going to see, and it's going to be amazing." And this was it. They're going to make people watch the finale all together and get their real-time reactions, which I think is a fantastic, fascinating idea to do it because, normally it's just a lot of puppies being thrown when housewives watch these final episodes, like that bitch. It's like throw a puppy against the wall or pinch their children or just, like cut a maid. Just cut a maid as she passes in anger. And now they don't get to be in the privacy of their homes while they watch it. We get to see.
Yeah. But the one thing is that I'm confused about is like we're all going to see them react to Ariana walking out of a party, which they all saw happen in real time. But now they get to see it edited. What are they going to do? I'm like, what are they going to react to?
Well, she doesn't know all the shit they were talking. She doesn't know that Lala went off on her Dorinda medley.
Bitch, when
right.
I'm
Ariana
talking about Tinsley, I'm so sick of that bitch. When did she become Beyonce?
She didn't see any of that. So basically, it's let's all gather around and watch how we made Ariana cry at the end. Okay, everybody?
Yeah, precisely. By the way, a follow-up to something that we were talking about last week. We were like, where is the scene of someone throwing like water in this final episode? So they did release that clip that was on. They released it as like a bonus. Did you see the clip?
Of course, yes. People are like, why aren't you recapping the Peacock episodes? Because we don't get screeners of those, and I ain't waiting 2 days to recap this shit, okay? Also, because you guys want the recaps fast. That's it. That's it.
So basically, for those who didn't see it, there was just some wasted guy who's probably on Molly or whatever. And he was like dancing all up in their area. And he kept on trying to sit down in like the VIP Vanderpump Rules cast area. And he was just like floppy and drunk. And he was annoying all of them. And they kept on trying to have to kick him out. And at one point, security is like, okay, we got to kick this guy out. And the guy was like, no. And he went and he like threw like a plate, like a porcelain plate or a glass at security. So the drink that we have seen in the trailers was an actual like piece of glass or porcelain that went flying at a human, which is actually so bad. This guy was messy and awful. And then finally they came and like tackled him and took him out. And so it wasn't that anything was being thrown at Sandoval, just that Sandoval jumped him and was like, dude, what's going on? What's going on, bro? Stop it, man. Chill out, man. That's all it was.
Yeah, and a lot of people online are like, did Sandoval hire this person so that he could be the hero and save everybody? And I was like, he should have hired better because this was like getting the equivalent of Lala's Logan, to throw a drink when you could have had him for free. You know what I mean?
Did we ever get to find out who this person was? I really would have. Has he been publicly shamed yet?
I don't think so, but I'm surprised actually because it's like a full facial. You know what I mean? Like, so certainly somebody's Google.
No one's claimed him. No one's claimed him.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. So I don't know. That was fine. That was interesting, I guess. But we've seen it so much. I just like the conspiracy theories are always the most fun, right? Like Tom did this to look better. Like Tom Cruise. Remember when Tom Cruise was just like always saving children in car fires? It's like, oh my God, there was a child in a car fire and Tom Cruise rushed in out of nowhere and saved them. Or like someone was about to get eaten by a dinosaur, a real life dinosaur that came back after it was a bit of its DNA was found in amber, and Tom Cruise was there to help him. And that started getting a little obvious, Tom. Okay, the other Tom. But this one, I don't know. I think Tom Sandoval's too lazy to orchestrate something like that. He couldn't even have an affair properly. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think that's the way he does it. So so now we see like a little bit of sort of like previews of what's to come, and we see it like this preview of what's to come sort of like culminates with like lots of tears and Ariana being like, it hurts my feeling a lot, it really does. Like, no, but you know me well enough that this is not acting. I don't, but you know me, Ariana. I don't, Ariana, you know me, dude.
He just keeps getting up and walking to a window. Tom, why would she know that you're not a good actor when you cheated on her for months and months with one of her best friends right under her nose? And by the way, for those of you sick of hearing that, sorry, but that's what happened on the show. Like, what the fuck? How are you going to tell somebody after you just fuck their best friend or one of their best friends for months, that I would never lie? What the fuck, Tom? Like, seriously.
It's like,
the only thing he said that I don't think was a lie in this whole reunion when he goes, come on, dude. Everyone knows I'm not such a bright guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We get it. We know that part we know.
Yeah. So then it's like 7 hours earlier and like, again, more, it's sort of like more trailer stuff. But then people are showing up at the building, and James like, it's reunion day again. And Schwartz like, oh yeah, I know, I'm having PTSD flashbacks. Oh, little boy. By the way, Tom Schwartz, I have to say thank you for keeping my Grandma Sally's colorist in business. I was concerned that shade of color in your hair was going to go the way of the dodo once dear Grandma Sally left this plane back in 2009, but he is keeping Grandma Sally's hair color alive. So thank you, Tom Schwartz. Thank you for reminding me of my grandma.
Yeah, Schwartz not.
I don't know what was going on with that dye job. What was happening with that dye job? Am I right? Was I the only one who noticed that? I'm like talking as if I'm talking to like 45 people right now. Like, what's the deal with the dye job?
20-year-olds or whatever, 23-year-olds, which, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, not that takes much in LA. Like, honestly, I don't know what you think you're getting, but you're like, oh, it's an old pasty person in his 40s and he's still living in LA. Must be rich. I've always said that about myself. Like, I actually thought aging would be terrible in LA, but as I got fatter and balder, people just assumed I was richer and more powerful by the day. And I became like a beauty queen. I was like, wow, I have never been approached by so many hot people. You know, they're like, oh my God, it's Harvey Weinstein. Give me a job. So yeah, I was listening to, I don't know, I fell down some rabbit hole about Nick Viall for some reason. It was Trisha Paytas on some podcast talking about Nick Viall dating a 20-year-old, basically. I guess he started dating some 20-year-old. Now he's married. It's like 4 years later. She's 24. They have a baby, whatever. And she was talking about how gross it is when guys date these young girls. And I think that came from a thread reading about Tom Schwartz dating this young girl. Now Tom Sandoval is dating this young girl. And I was thinking, well, you know, there are people who are so mature at that age. And someone in the comments said, no, because Tom Schwartz was in an interview with this girl on Nick Viall. And she just got up and left the room. And they're like, where'd she go? And she just jumped into the pool. And they're like, yeah, so it's not maturity.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Just in the middle of a show. You going somewhere, honey? I don't know. Just like walks out and you just see her, you know, naked in the pool 2 seconds out the window. Oh, LA, I've missed you.
It's fun times. So everyone's getting ready for this reunion. Sandoval's like, yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I never do before these things. Oh, I'm not a good actor. And then you have Ariana, and she's like talking about she doesn't want to have a neck vagina like Donald Trump. And then Lisa's with Schwartz, and she's like, and he's like, oh man, you can cut the tension with a knife. It's so scary in there. Hold me, Lisa Vanderpump. Oh, I'm a little boy.
I'm just a little boy. So then Andy's talking to Sandoval. He's like, how do you feel about seeing Ariana today? Have you seen her boobs? They're looking pretty good. Anything new done to your face? Any boob action? And he's like, I don't know. I'm nervous, bro. I'm just a good person. I hope nobody tries to attack me today like normal. And then we go to the girls' dressing room, and Lala's giving Ariana a pep talk. And then she goes, we're going to get out there, and then we're going to boom, 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 punch, punch. Now, I don't know that I would consider that a pep talk. It seems like a threat. And it's also a reunion with Lala, who has no fucking shame and no loyalty to anybody ever. So she's like, okay, it's been good talking. Can't wait to rip you to shreds.
Yeah,
once we get out
it's been fun. It's been fun having good relations this season. I'm going to set us up for next season if you don't mind. So it's been great. Anyway,
it's been good having good relations to your face.
Yeah,
while I've been slamming you behind your back all season, so I can't wait to do more of that.
So let's get into the reunion, okay? Because there's so many clips going back and forth. So start of the reunion. So Andy is like, hey, everyone, welcome to Vanderpump Rules Season 11. I'm Andy Cohen, and here with a group of people in desperate need of a mediator. And since Ann wasn't available, you see Ann pop. Actually, I'm right here, Andy.
Who says I'm not available?
Oh, my God. I've been hiding under the sofa for a week now. I'm so glad you guys finally started shooting.
You know what? I'm available, but I don't want to be a nuisance. I'm just going to be here under your chair, Andy.
I actually am. I'm wearing a green shirt. Green shirt with like a little bit of a picture frame on the sides. That way I can just blend in with the wall. So I'll just be right here. And if you need me, just throw a cup at the wall and I'll wake up and I'll be like, yes, whatever you need.
So hi everybody, hi Lisa, I'm good, Andy. Does it feel different reuniting this year? She goes, oh, last year was pretty scary at this moment. Oh, the poor men were almost railroaded right off of this television show. Every night I wish I had a time machine so I could rewind to last year in a better glitter shawl and stroke the men's hair and say, Mama loves you, my little broken bird.
Yes, it was so scary last year, being at the forefront of pop culture and the only thing that anyone seemed to care about in the entire world. Oh, what a scary time to be so much more popular than Kyle Richards. So then we see flashbacks to last year. Everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Sandoval. Shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You don't get to talk. This is not your moment. You shut the fuck up.
It cannot be understated. I mean, that entire reunion was like, Tom, what do you feel about the affair with Raquel? He'd be like, well, and they were like, boo, shut up, you whack job, you fucking labradoodle piece of shit. Did you just call me a labradoodle? Shut the fuck up. Wuss.
All right, hey, Schwartz. You know, I see a lot of new plants around here. Were any of these plants from you? He's like, oh, yeah. Well, it hurt at first, and everyone said that, but I think it's growing in well. No, not hair implants. I mean house plants. Are these from you? Oh, yeah, those are from mine, too. Yeah. I like them. I like plants. That's my personality this season. Plants.
Yeah, I had a say in that. You had a say in it. Okay. It's just like all the restaurants I'm involved in. You know, people around me did work and I went, whoa, that's nuts. I hope I'm tall enough to ride this ride. I'm such a little boy. Sandoval, how are you feeling tonight? He's like, a lot better than last year, I'll tell you that much. Sold out, albums, new hair, new face. Oh, very good, Katie. You look beautiful. She's like, thank you.
Who are you wearing? I'm wearing by. It's a collab with. Thanks. All right. Hey, by the way, as of today, do we have an open sandwich shop? And she's like, as of today, when we're airing, yeah. And by yeah, I mean, no. I don't think, has it opened? Have we heard anything that it's open? No, it's not.
No,
open.
I Googled that shit immediately, of course, because, you know, it's not even to make anybody feel bad or to pressure anybody. Like, what do I care? But I did have to Google it, both because of what we do and also because I'm just the kind of person who loves carbs so much that I have to know when there's a new carb in town. Like, if there's a new carb in LA, I need to know about it, especially in West Hollywood, because those are not easy to find in that area, you know?
No.
So yeah, it's not open yet, but it supposedly opens next week on the 22nd. So I don't know. Maybe they just told them, hey, this is going to air on the 22nd so that they look stupid when it's still not open. I don't know.
Maybe there's a soft open. Maybe there's like, it's been soft. It's like a soft open. It's an untoasted open. Well, hopefully it'll still be open when we get back from Europe and I can go check it out. So we'll see. So Andy is like, all right, well, when this airs, it'll be open. Wow. All right, then that's the news we got to get into. All right. So I'll tell you what is open. Segue. Broadway. Broadway's back, baby. Ariana, you're breaking box office records in Chicago. Oh, I thought she was in New York City. It's a musical, you idiot. Anyway, congratulations. I mean, are you having fun?
It's like I'm having the time of my life, Andy. Just the time of my life. And Lala, so much to celebrate in your life right now. Here you bought a new house, some new babies implanted. Tell us about it. She says, yeah, I did. And congratulations, just in time for the due date of September 1st. Unfortunately, not going to be shooting there. Are you sad that you had someone shoot inside you before you knew that we were not going to be shooting inside your new house until that baby was 5 years old? How do you feel about that one, Lala? She's like, damn you, Wendy.
I'm going to save up my squirts, Sandy. I'm going to save up the squirts for when you come back. It's like, all right, cool. Well, listen, we were going to film you guys, but we hired the same production crew as the construction crew for Something About Her. So we're just a little bit behind schedule. So then he's like, okay, excited. Hey, Sheena, I hear you and Brock also bought a house near Lala in the valley. Where is it? Yeah, we got a 5-minute walk away, like in the valley, conveniently located between Janet and Jax and close to like Kristen. And like, I'm just saying, like, if you have any intention to recast Vanderpump Rules and send us to a different show, like if they need us in the valley, I'm not saying that we moved to the valley to be in the valley, but like it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean, assuming I'm not too busy with Dancing with the Stars, call me.
Not to make it all about me in the valley, but, And as we're about to find out later, I'm extremely paranoid that Brock is going to sleep with Lala, so I just wanted to make it more convenient. He's like, okay, well, Brock, you went through some tears this season. Everyone got to know you a little bit more. And he's like, yeah, Andy, I think I'm going through all that, just kind of being held accountable. And it turned me into the best version of myself, Andy. As you saw this year, me yelling at my wife in a store, or me yelling at my wife at home, or me yelling at my wife at an ice cream shop, or me yelling at my wife while we were drinking martinis out of a boombox-shaped cake. Andy, I'm a different man now. Have you paid your child support? I have sent bras to both of my children, which should support their chests if they have them. Have no idea. Next question.
I'm just happy you got to see another side of me. You learned that Foster's isn't just Australian for beer. It's also Australian for Oscar-winning actresses, if you wanted to pluralize, if you wanted to clone them. And if you want to do multiplicity on an actress, in Australia, we say Foster's.
So Brock had like a hero year. I guess I didn't see that.
I didn't know that we learned.
Brock just ran 20 miles. I mean, like with one
Did we
leg.
learn more
Like I honestly.
Did we learn when he cried? He cried in the presence of like a cocktail that arrived on top of a boombox. But like, was that like, it's like, wow, the way you cried at that crazy restaurant with a fork the size of an elbow in the steak. Wow. What a new size of
The way you pretended to cry on the set of The Incredible Shrinking Woman was pretty impressive, Brock. Aren't you ready to receive the Nobel Peace Prize? He's like, yeah, Andy, someday maybe I'll see my kids again. So they go into that whole thing. And Sheena's like, you can't help it, Brock. You can't help it.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
The CDC estimates that approximately 96 million American adults, more than 1 in 3, have prediabetes. Of those with prediabetes, more than 80% don't even know they have it.
Why does this matter? If you have prediabetes, sugar begins to build up in the bloodstream rather than fuel the cells. This is when insulin resistance occurs, which is believed to be the #1 cause of prediabetes.
A healthy weight allows insulin to work more efficiently and can help to keep blood sugars within a normal range.
Signos can help you short-circuit the cycle by using data directly from your body to design a weight loss plan that's unique to your lifestyle.
With Signos, you can literally see which foods cause your blood sugar to spike above reasonable levels and get real-time alerts to do a bit of exercise to bring them back down.
On average, people make about 227 food choices a day.
Learn the difference between stress eating and physical hunger.
Better manage your energy throughout the day and sleep better at night.
Listen, I've got some health stuff going on here. I've been on my weight loss journey for about a year now, and I need to track this stuff, so it's great to have something so simple to use.
Signos removes the guesswork of weight loss and provides you with the tools and knowledge needed to develop healthier habits. It combines your glucose data from the CGM or a continuous glucose monitor with an AI-driven app to deliver real-time glucose insights for optimal health and weight management.
Right now, Signos has an offer exclusively for our listeners. Go to Signos.com, that's SIGNOS.com, and get up to 20% off select plans by using code CRAPPENS today.
That's Signos.com and use code CRAPPENS to get up to 20% off select plans for you today.
The Coca-Cola Company, Keurig Dr. Pepper, and PepsiCo are bringing consumers more choices with less sugar than ever before. From sparkling, flavored, and bottled waters to zero-sugar sports drinks, teas, and sodas, consumers are taking advantage of these choices. In fact, nearly 60% of beverages sold contain zero sugar. To learn more, visit balanceus.org.
So then we get to James, and James is just like, yeah, it's me, Kennedy, bringing James Kennedy. Oh, James, could you please ask the airplanes not to fly so close to the studio? Okay.
We're trying to shoot a TV show here. We can't have the airplanes interrupting. They just follow me wherever I go, Andy. That's what you get after you played Coachella. So, all right, I want to dive right in. So Andy asks about Ariana and Sandoval living under the same roof after all of this. We were floored that you were under the same roof. Get it? Floor, roof. Houses.
Now, let's tell us, were you prepared for the backsplash?
Could you open a door into your relationship? How long is this living window going to be?
And are you glad you're no longer blinds?
It seems like this relationship is in the basement.
And by the way, that's my mirror in the basement. Okay, Ariana, you get the workout.
I invented
Okay.
basements.
Okay.
By the way, I invented basements.
So then we see the producer ask, we see clips of them living in the same house. It's awkward, guys, as we all know. And so he asks her about the petition that she filed with the courts in order to force the sale of the house. What's the latest? And she's like, I'm not allowed to talk about that, unfortunately. I know it's a hot topic and I wish I could, but I can't give the latest on that. It is ongoing, Andy. It is very, very important legal news in America. Cannot talk about it.
All right, Sandoval, you're pretty dumb, so maybe you'll spill the beans by accident. He's like, no, sorry, man. You have to talk to my lawyer, Jojo Siwa, about that. All right, okay.
Just literally carries me on her back into the courtroom. She sees me.
Best lawyer in America.
So they're not both living there now? And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm on Broadway. So did you not hear that question? I'm no longer there.
I live in an Airbnb at New York City. I am gainfully employed. It's like, oh, okay.
We see a wacky segment of Sheena covering up the Lego art
At
with moving
Sheena's
the blanket.
urging.
Yeah.
At Sheena's urging. She's like, wait a second. We never saw that amazing scene of what we did to the Lego art.
Yeah, you guys cut some really important stuff this season. So
It was just like the gays covering the Lego art with the blanket. I'm like, wow, thanks. Thanks for stopping the whole show for us to see this.
yeah. So then he asks about Schwartz getting down on one knee to ask Tom to be roommates or to agree to be roommates or whatever. And we see that, and everyone's covering their face because it's awkward and gross, and also Schwartz's hair is awkward and gross, and also they're both dating toddlers right now, which is super awkward. It's a lot. Every time they cut to the Toms, everyone's just like, oh, God. I mean, we are all Katie every time there's a shot of a Tom. It's just like,
So Andy's like, so are you going to move into the house? I mean, it was like a little sticky, He's like, a little? Yeah, all right, it was a lot sticky. But part of me was like, what if I never get to propose again? And I just wanted to remember what it feels like. And Kitty's like, this fucking guy, why did I ever marry this guy? I can't believe I put so much of my life on hold for this imbecile.
I just wanted one more chance to propose to somebody, and then now it's going to feel like we're being married again, I can't wait to ignore Tom and then emotionally abuse him, cheat on him occasionally, disappear whenever he needs me. I really missed it, Andy. I really, really missed it.
I really go back and forth. I mean, because it's like a beautiful home and I miss having a backyard. And I don't know, I just have some reservations about living there, just given the history and because I can't afford it. So she's like, oh, why would you want to live together? You're both grown-ups, for goodness sake. You do that when you're 20 or on the Golden Girls.
But it's an investment property. We want investment property, Lisa. She goes, investment? Oh, God. And Sandoval's like, my dad's in his 60s and he has roommates. And she's like, oh, well. Not common, but I feel like I'm not getting paid enough to also attack your cheesy father, so.
I know. I don't want to say, well, look at how things turned out for you, but I kind of want to say that just going to move on at this point.
If I had to criticize all the trees that you rotten apples fell off of, I'd be a lumberjack. And frankly, I have another show that's more demanding of my actual talents than this.
So Schwartz says he's put in $100,000 into rent the past 2 years, and he feels salty about it. So wait, $100,000 divided by 24, is that going to be about
It's $4,000 a month. So
Yeah, $4,000 a month. That's a lot for rent. For that place, he's paying $4,000. That is okay. The sort of judgment that's powering you to spend $4,000 on that apartment in the Valley means that you are in no place to be making judgment calls about houses
things
and
are
flipping them for an
expensive.
investment.
Oh my God, things are so
like
expensive.
no, you cannot step
I'm trying
away
to
from
move
the
back to
investment
LA,
property.
and it is insanely expensive there. And then, it's like all this stuff going on in LA at the same time. And LA is still LA. It's always going to be LA. But the other day I was there looking at a place, and I was outside this furniture store, and there was this lady without a home, and she was screaming, at me as I passed by. She's like, "Come on, $2 for cigarettes. It's $2. Isn't it $2?" And I said, "I don't have $2. I'm sorry." She's like, "But it's $2. Come on, $2. Listen, smoking kills people that need to die." I was like, well, that's actually brilliant, and I love that, but I still don't have $2. So I went into the furniture store, and she stood on the outside going, $2. Okay, so then this couple passed by, so she started yelling at them. This lady was hilarious, by the way. She was just like yelling and crazy, but so harmless in a way too, So this couple is standing on the corner. This is kind of by where the Vespa shop is in the Valley, if that sets it for anybody, okay? So there's all these pretty Vespas. So this couple decides to start taking romantic videos of each other. So this lady is like screaming at them. It's like, $2, come on. Well, she starts blah, blah, blahing about random crazy things. So he puts his camera on the ground right in front of this lady and then starts taking a video of them. Like, how you can set the timer, and then he's like twirling the girlfriend. And I was like, that's your background. This lady's screaming $2 at you as your background. And I was like, God, I can't wait to be back here. I miss this place.
I had a terrifying experience. I had a terrifying experience in LA yesterday. It really rattled me. I went into a bodega to get a candy bar, and there was just like an old. I assumed he was Russian because he sounded like he had a Russian accent. It's old Russian. He's like, there to check out. And like when I got my candy bar and I went up, I got in line behind him. He's like, "Oh, you can go ahead with me." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I like go up to pay, and there's no one behind the counter, and the person who had been behind the counter when I walked in was now standing like at the door, sort of like standing on guard. And I saw the other employee of the shop was standing in front of a door to the back room, and then the guy was like, "Oh, how much does your thing cost?" I was like, $4. So it was like an energy bar, so it was obviously more expensive than like a Reese's. And I was like, "That's $4." He's like, "I got it," and he gave me this like creepy smile. And I was like, "Oh, you don't have to do that." He's like, "I got it." And I was like, then I looked, I saw everyone was staring at me, and I was like, oh, I'm in the middle of a mafia moment. The mafia is having a meeting back there, and they're trying to get me out of here. And so I just was, I see what's going on. So I said, "Oh, thank you, sir." So then I was like, I got to get out of here. And then the guy at the door was like, "Wait, you can't walk out with that." It's like, he's got it. And the guy, the mafia guy was just like nodded like, "It's on me."
Got it.
And they're like, oh, you can go. And I was like, bye everyone. It was
Watch,
so
that's going to be the way they
scary.
end up catching that little ring of the mafia, that little chain in the link, because they're going to be like, wow, wait a minute. All of your Snickers bars are not accounted for in bookkeeping.
Technically, I got a Cliff Bar.
Is there some kind of laundering going on here? And you're going to end up getting just this innocent guy who just wanted a Cliff Bar is going to end up taking them down.
It was very scary,
gosh.
which has nothing
All
to do with anything going on in the show, but I just had to share this wild thing that happened
What
yesterday.
does, This is only going to be a 90-hour recap anyway. Let's just talk. Let's just talk about our feelings. I started it, so I can't complain. And also, it's just another thing. I love that city, even the Valley, which is probably where I'm going to move. And guess what? I'm not apologizing to fucking anybody, even you.
Don't apologize. You probably won't have terrifying experiences like the one I had yesterday in Hollywood.
I'll just die of heat stroke. Okay, everybody. So, yes, Sandoval's dad lives with his roommates. Sandoval's dad is also walking around with dyed black hair and a leather jacket. I remember seeing him on TV last year. I think that Sandoval, I'll bet his father is living a similar lifestyle. I wouldn't doubt if the dad was in like a dad band, you know?
Yeah.
Which is neither here nor there. Just saying, you know, we become our dads. Lucky us. Okay, so LVP disses them about that, and then they're talking about the house, and they're just making bad decisions still, is the point. They're going to move into this house and pay $90,000 a month or whatever it is, and they're both fine with it.
So now Andy is like, well, last year, everyone in the gang decided to come back to the show. Well, this year they did, except for Rachel, who opted out. Lisa, when the season started, did you think Rachel was going to come back? Well, I mean, all of her actions were so kind of unpredictable and stupid. And I really didn't know, but all this nonsense on a podcast by a witch lady and denigrating everyone, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Can you believe her? And Sandoval like, did you even listen to that thing? God. And she's like, oh, God, Tom, I didn't listen to it. I mean, from what I've been told, listen, I turned my ears off the second you said you were going to have a bond. A bond.
I mean, I listened to a little bit of it when I thought it was about Rachel going to see a Star Wars movie. I mean, I thought finally someone seeing Rogue One. But no, it was not about that at all.
When I thought it was about Rachel learning to make a decent tomato sauce, I listened, but... It's ragu, Lisa. Exactly.
When I thought it was about Rachel doing something about her hair receding, I thought finally... diving into the Rogaine world, but no, it was not about that at all.
Although I would much prefer a steak from a grocery store anyway. Just a simple little steak. Wagyu? Okay.
I mean, I was as surprised as anyone when Rachel landed a gig on Joe Rogan's podcast, but it turns out it was not what her podcast was about. She does not go Rogan. She did not go Rogan.
We're just completely gone now. Andy's like, so Sandoval, were you expecting Rachel to return to the show? He's like, I wasn't sure. I encouraged her to like take some time away from everybody, including myself, to come to her own decision that way. You know, like maybe take her time out of rehab or away from shrinks who would tell her that everything was my fault. All
right, well, he's having a real big cry over there. Okay, well, looking back at the last reunion, do any of you have any regrets about your conversations with her? Lala's like, well, you know what? As time passes, there's like some healing that happens, and like, I think that if she had come back, so we would have had some very productive conversations where she could have stared and I could have been like, you're a slut mistress and how dare you think you can speak in my presence? And it would have been very healing for me.
Yeah, I could have pretended that I was going to be her friends, and then I could have sat her down and then told her what a horse she is, and then made her cry, and then chased her out and say, I'm so sorry that people called you a horse.
What about you, Ariana? Ariana's like, I mean, I had the courage to stand up to my perpetrators, and I cannot believe I even showed up that day. Sort of how I can't believe I show up every day on Broadway. Losers.
You know, I showed up that day to face my perpetrators, and now I play a perpetrator on Broadway. He had it coming. He had it coming. He's got a glad bag in his hand. Big razors.
Well, I would assume it would be quite difficult for Rachel to show up and face everyone. And Lala's like, you know what? I think credits needs to be given to her for that because I'm very proud of Ariana's for coming and facing something that was very difficult. And she had a solid support system, at least fakely to her face until now, and physically in the room and outside, right? But Rachel didn't have that. And so for Tom and Rachel to show up, like, I'm like, damn, I consider myself a tough bitch. Except for when someone actually confronts me about something. And I don't think I could have. Just be softer. Just be softer.
Be soft. Soft, Lala.
Be soft.
Soft, Lala.
Be soft. Be soft.
Lala. Sandoval's like, yeah, like looking back, like, she's a coward, okay? Like, I'm sorry to say it. And he's talking about Lala, right?
No, he's talking about Rachel.
But he's saying, oh, okay. So I couldn't tell because I thought it was Rachel, because they're talking about Rachel, but he could be talking about Lala with what he's saying, because he's like, I think she's a fucking coward. Like, I'm sorry to say it, and I think her sitting here preaching to everybody like she's moving on, but still talking relentlessly about me and everybody is just fucking ridiculous. I mean, I guess it could be about Lala, but yeah, it's about Rachel. So thank you, because I really was confused. I watched it twice. Because then Lala starts getting defensive about it too.
Right.
In a minute.
And
Anyway.
Schwartz is like, yeah, I mean, she's Rachel spinning a narrative that you masterminded this and that she was like a victim. It's absolute malarkey. It's malarkey. Oh.
And he's like, yeah, we both did it. We both did it. It's absolute rubbish. I'm gonna read from one of our reviews on Yelp. Absolute rubbish. Sent it back to the kitchen. Why would you make a Caesar salad out of kale? Oh, I'm so mad. Sorry, what were we talking about?
Rubbish and malarkey. So he's like,
Yeah, we both chose to do it. We're both responsible.
but wasn't there a line in the press or something last week that I was victim shaming her or something like that? Well, she did say that. No, the word that she used was groomed. Oh, yes, grooming. Something that none of you have ever experienced in your life. What way did you mean it?
So Sandoval's like, that's fucked up slander, considering she is not underage and it implies
Pedophilia.
And Lala's like, no, it does not. No, it does not. And she starts getting really defensive because, she used that grooming line as well, which we see a clip of, saying that he groomed her. And she's like, no, it does not. It's grooming. It's taking. Well, first, I mean, it's a full on typical Tom Sandoval and Lala type argument where she goes, it does not. And he goes,
Yes, it does.
it does not.
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 Yes, it does.
Like, literally just
It
keeps
goes on
going
for a
and
very
going.
long time.
Like, wow, guys. Wow.
Really for 45 minutes, and then pretty much the episode ends. So Lala's like, it's groomings. It means that like you're taking someone who's younger than you and more impressionable than you, and you're forcing them to watch you eat 2 fried chicken breasts at one time. Okay, it's terrible.
So then we see the clip of her on the boat yelling at Tom. You know what triggered me? When she said, if I didn't fall in love with Sandoval, I'll have nobody. Because you isolate, you grooms, you lies, you look people in their face. And he's like, bullshit, Lala, you don't know me.
You don't know me, Lala. I do not groom.
So then,
I feel
she's
like in
like,
that
in that-
moments,
yeah.
I have to admit, I've been a projector. I
She starts
have
singing a
projectile
Beyonce
squirts. I'll be a projector.
I'll be your protector.
Love that song. Sounds just like that. It was actually like it sounded exactly like Beyonce. So they're fighting about this and what is a groomer, etc. I don't know what I would describe him.
The practice
She
of
is
preparing
not
or
the
training
brightest
someone for a
person.
particular purpose or activity. So according to
Say it again.
dictionary.com.
Read it again. I was still thinking about
So
Beyonce.
I'll be a
Honestly.
projector. So it says the practice of preparing or training someone for a particular purpose or activity. And the example is Alan was expected to need a lot of grooming before he was ready to take over. Oh, Alan. Wow. I mean, you want to talk about someone who needs some grooming, Alan.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's not the brightest. I mean, I can see how she's would be manipulated and stuff like that. But Tom's not the
Wait, there's
brightest
another-
either. I don't know.
There's actually
I
another
know what
definition.
we know what grooming is. I mean, for
The action of
Christ's sake,
attempting
I
to
just-
form a relationship with a child or a young person with the intention of sexually assaulting them or inducing them
Yes,
to
that's
commit
how I've
acts.
always heard it too. I have always heard it as being more of a child thing. But I
in
don't
that
know.
context of it, like in a predatory way, because obviously grooming has a perfectly benign. I don't know why I'm like defending the word grooming to like people who are like
well,
care about
it's not
vocabulary or
defending it.
spellings.
It's just that these people are taking something that's very serious and real, and then they're taking that language and using it against each other in a verbally violent way to like make a point so that they win. And it's like, like this is a real thing. I don't know that we should be using this with Raquel of all people, who just had a podcast about a shirt she wore to Coachella. Okay,
Yeah.
like can we not?
So Lala's basically just saying like, look, I always lean towards the chick a little bit more in these situations because
Yeah, that's Lala. That's Lala, always there for the women. Can we bring up the Amber Childs text from a few years ago? Or
Should we bring up all of last season?
All the clips of last season of Raquel. There's Lala just burning her bra right there in the fucking, rally for feminism.
Yeah. She basically says, like, she doesn't like when the female who's been affected by the man is the one who basically takes the brunt of all the heat of it.
I agree with that.
I agree with that, too. So Schwartz is like, well, we witnessed it. She was just as conniving, if not more so, and ruthless in her pursuit of pleasure. Yeah, but also, like, she wasn't in a committed relationship.
She was not in the relationship.
Like, what she did was wrong. It's fucked up. It was her best friend, so she's not innocent, and what she did was terrible. But, like, let's not act like she, like Sandoval was, like, the innocent waif in this situation and was seduced away from Ariana. Okay? That's not what happened here.
And also, as far as the grooming, all that stuff goes, we've all been in it. Well, at least I have. I shouldn't say we all. I'm trying to stop doing that. Where it's like, I want to say me, but I'm saying like, you do too. I don't mean, but I've been in the position where you're with some guy who's leading you on and making you think like, I don't know, when you're insecure or something, and you just need something. And this guy's like, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's wrong, but there's some guy and you know that you're not doing the right thing. I'm not sticking up for Raquel.
There's a Whitney Houston song about
it. It's not really the same thing,
Look, listen to the Whitney Houston song. Saving All My Love for You. That's all you need to know. That explains everything.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
CarMax is putting peace of mind back in car shopping by putting you in the driver's seat to find a ride that's right for you. Because at CarMax, we believe you shouldn't just settle for a car. You should love your car. That's why every car we sell is CarMax certified quality, so you can be sure with upfront pricing that's the same for every customer. So don't settle. Find love at first drive and start shopping now at CarMax.com. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
So Rachel is now we're talking about the lawsuit for Rachel against Tom and Ariana. It's like, okay, well, in more legal news, Rachel is suing Ariana and Tom and claiming that you took part in revenge porn. Ha! What's the status of that? And so Sheena's like, they can't answer it, but I will because I have a legal degree in going to the kitchen. I got it from going to the kitchen university. So it's ridiculous. Ariana did not send that video to anyone. She was not distributing it. It's so ridiculous that she is being put through this fucking shit again, as if Raquel didn't put her through enough last year.
Yeah. I got lost. I'm thinking about
got
my
lost
past now.
I'm about to say, I could see you on camera. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have. I was too soon to jump in with the Whitney Houston thing because now he's receded into himself.
Well, yeah, I mean, Whitney Houston plus my own past with men. I'm like, oh my God, this is really.
Remember the times we've been let on? You've been sold a bill of goods. Yeah, that's what happened. This is what men do. Men will be like, oh man, we're going to do this or that. Like they make you believe in the fantasy. And if you're broken, you just need that fantasy. And like, you're going to lean into it even more. And Sandoval is going to be the one. He is going to be the one who's going to sell you the dream. And, Raquel has the big eyes like, oh my God, it's all going to happen. Someone's going to love me. I won't be broken. My life will continue after pageants. There's a path for me. So I don't know if I would call it grooming. I would just call that just fuckboyery.
Taking advantage. I would call it taking advantage of somebody who's in a place of weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do not like. And obviously that doesn't make Raquel an innocent standby, an innocent victim and everything. But this whole season has been trying to reframe this Tom bullshit, and I'm just not having it. Okay.
Yeah.
And
what I'm not going to do
is trying to wear me down, and it's the reunion, and now we're all supposed to be worn down by all of this, and finally forgive fucking Tom Sandoval. No. Gross.
It's really just a reaction to Schwartz saying that Raquel was just as conniving, if not more conniving, than Sandoval, and it's like, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to. I'm not. I'm just. But of not
course, another cheat. Of course, a fellow cheater who fucked around on his wife for years and treated her like crap for years, and probably gaslit her the whole time. Of course, he's going to stand up for the other one who's just like that. So, I guess you have to expect that. But I will not stand for it. Do you understand me? So then we get to the Rachel lawsuit against Tom and Ariana. And it is about the revenge porn. And you just went through this, right? Okay. So Ariana's like, yeah, and I don't understand. Like, I've never done anything to this girl. Like, why am I constantly being brought back into this? And he's like,
Yeah, it's one thing to come for me, but to come after Ariana, I'm just like, I'm questioning if she even has a fucking soul. Look at me. I'm standing up for Ariana, everybody. Put me on a fucking poster.
Yeah, this is Sandoval trying to create a boogeyman that's worse than him. So creating some space. So then Katie goes, well, she doesn't. So Andy's asking James what he thinks. And he's like, oh, Andy, I'm just exhausted just talking about it. I'm like over it. I'm over it, you know. I'm just like, oh God, here comes another airplane. I can't even get my sound button.
You are the one who bring her into this group. And she's like, oh, yes, let's put him on it. Well, you brought them all into this group, ma'am. I don't think you want to start playing that game. All right. So they're joking around that James fucked everybody up. And then Andy's like, okay, this is a good place to take a break. We'll be back. Okay, so then we come back and we are talking about Sandoval's suicidal thoughts versus Ariana's suicidal thoughts. Let's talk about suicidal ideation. Fun times. So we start with Tom Sandoval starting the season off saying that he was having suicidal thoughts or whatever. And they ask, basically everyone's like, well, who's going to argue with that, right? Like, if your friend is going through that, you want to be there for your friend. You know, you don't want to fuck with somebody if they're at that place.
And she shares a story about how she had a friend who died by suicide, and, you know, she has regrets about how she felt like she handled it and just didn't want to have that on her conscience and everything like that. So then Andy asks, you know, Ariana, like, when you heard about Tom's mental health, you seemed kind of stealth. What was going through your head? And she was just like, I wasn't coming after him, and, you know, like, what he was going through, I wasn't creating, and, you know, like, it's something that I've dealt with, and I just didn't want to be part of those conversations.
And she says, like, and at the same time, let's not forget that after the last reunion, he was weaponizing my suicidal ideation against me by saying, you know, and he's like, how was I weaponizing your suicidal thoughts? And they're like, you talked about it publicly, you dumbass. And so they show the conversation where he goes to Sheena's and he's like,
I couldn't break up with her. She threatened to commit suicide.
And, you know, Tom is such a sicko that I think he saw the reaction that got, which is like, you don't bring up someone. It's like you can't argue with suicidal ideation. Like, you just don't do that. You know what I mean? Whether you're right or you're wrong. And so the next season he came and pulled that out of his bag. Now, that said, even that is uncomfortable to say. Like, I shouldn't even be saying that, because if it is true, you don't ever want to fuck with somebody. But that's the kind of shit we're dealing with this year on Vanderpump Rules.
He basically is like, I don't understand how it's like weaponizing, and then he's like, you know, I brought it up because I felt like it was being used against me in a very textbook manipulation tactic. So you're saying that her suicidal ideations were a manipulation against you. I'm like, you realize that's weaponizing it. Don't you understand? You're literally doing it to this day. So then Lisa
well, you're also telling on yourself a little bit, aren't you? Because when he's like, oh, someone bringing up suicide is like manipulation. Well, the whole point is that you brought up suicide at the beginning of the year of yourself. So are you tattletelling on yourself? It's just like, I know it's really dark, but it's also just like studying a crazy person at this point. I don't want to say crazy. It's like studying like the narcissism to the point where you can't even get mad anymore. You just have to stand back and look at it like, what the fuck is going on inside there? You know?
Yeah. So basically Lisa is like, you know, the difference is that like you brought up your thing on your own volition, but like it wasn't your place to bring up what Ariana's gone through. And, you know, and Lala says the same thing, basically like, you know, she confided in you and you put it on camera, and Sandoval's, and she's like, now you know how it feels. He goes, yeah, but it's because I brought it up because I didn't believe it. That's why. And they're like, but now that you've had these thoughts and have people say that they don't believe it, do you see it now? It's like, I do. It's just, there were like 4 other things said that weren't, I don't know. It just didn't end up happening. So he's still not really believing Ariana. He's still kind of resisting this whole idea of this.
Yeah, and I like that Sheena turned it back on him, because she goes, okay, but you said that you brought it up on camera because you didn't believe it was real, but then you also said that you didn't leave her because you thought she was going to kill herself. So which is it? Like, you can't have it both ways. And he's just like, but. And she's like, there's no but there, Tom. The sentence was over. Dun, dun, dun.
Sheena's big moment. All right, so now we go into Sandoval and his disastrous interviews, chiefly with the New York Times, where he compared himself to George Floyd. So, and when Andy brings this up, and James just goes over to whispers to Lala, "Can you be any dumber? So dumb I can't even yell, 'You dumb, stupid, fat slut!' It's so dumb I just can only whisper it. The words are taken away from me."
So Andy's like, okay, well, talk to the people out there and tell them, prove to them that you've changed. Go ahead. You've got 30 seconds. This is going to be so fun. How many push-ups do you do? Also put that in there. In a day. In a week.
I have to do like
Every day?
sales. Wait, I have to do like a sales pitch on myself, Andy, without even like a photo shoot to go with it. Like, no, man.
Isn't that what this whole season has been? Oh my God! Look at Tom. He just brought a sound person in just for me, and I didn't even ask him to. That's the kind of person he is. Let me please. We've been sitting through it all season. Get up there and fucking tap dance already.
Yeah. So Andy's like, "Well, what do you think of the response?" And he's like, and so James is like, "Come on, don't make it worse now by what you say. Think about it for a second. Sandoval." So he's like, come on. Okay, listen, you've made a lot of inroads with this group, and it's fair to say you've got an incredible amount of backlash to the statements you made, so you don't have to defend yourself, but like, I'm not defending, okay? I'm not defending. It's like, okay, well, tell me what you think. All right, do you need a juice box? What's going on?
He's like, I'm just saying it was like a huge thing, you know? Like, it was just absurd because, like, this scandal, it's like, it just got so big, you know? And then I was trying to think of other news to compare it to, and those were the first ones that I came up with, you know? Two huge moments in Black history.
Okay, can I help you out here a little bit?
Came to my mind. What do you want from me?
Can I help, Sarah? Did you feel like you were saying these are like real things that happened that were newsworthy, and this was capturing attention, and that was nuts? Is that what you're trying to say? Can I help you out just a little bit, Sears?
Oh, and he's like,
Yes, because my shit's not even newsworthy. Just kidding. Holding for pictures. Okay, I'm seeing the scandal sandwiched in between the fucking war in Ukraine and, like, you know, like other shit. Because I can't really remember right now. But I'm just like, well, this is fucking stupid, but also amazing. Because, like I was literally everywhere. Wow. More people watched me than Roots.
So I can get behind that. Like, there was real news happening. Not that I knew what any of it was, because all I really care about is news that happens on 2 blocks of Santa Monica Boulevards. And Santa was like, yeah, and we were like overtaking it, man. And so Lala's like,
these dummies. It's like they're trying to explain it. We know. We get it. The point is that you're so fucking insensitive that you wouldn't even know that that's incorrect.
The point is, actually, there was real news, which is why we needed Sandoval, because honestly, the headlines destroy us. So we need to put all of our energy into Sandoval. That's why you were there.
Yeah. So, so he goes,
Yeah. I mean, nobody even fucking read the article.
and Brock goes, I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for a subscription to the New York Times. I mean, who does that? I'm not doing that. I'm going to read the headline right there because it's free. That's what everybody read. And he goes, did you read the article? He's like, no. And he goes, exactly. Nobody did. And Lala's like, yeah, I only saw, like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. And they're just all talking about how they didn't read it. And then Andy's like, I did.
The only newspaper I subscribe to is the Kangaroo Times. To be fair, every article is just hop, 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 hop. But I love it.
So LVP is like, oh my God, it was just a ridiculous comparison, you idiot. And he goes, yeah, that was a bad article. You should fire your PR team.
But I didn't mean it that way.
There's a concept called intent versus impact. So it doesn't matter how you intend it, how you meant it. The problem is the impact that it made. So this is why you just need to fucking think before you speak, dude. That's why the best thing to say at all times is because it's what you intend and it's how it impacts people.
Hello there. This is a 2-part recap, okay? This is the end of part 1. So thank you so much for listening to this. Just come back a little later for part 2.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Stroll in the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. We want to hang with Liz Lang. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
We forever love Ava.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. Ring that bell for Rachel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
When you're committed to raising the standard, you're bound to ruffle some feathers. At Happy Egg, we like to say we farm differently. But in reality, we produce eggs the way people used to, by partnering with local small family farmers who raise our happy hens on 8 or more acres. Because in our opinion, farming shouldn't be complicated. It should be happy. Choose happy with Happy Egg. Visit happyegg.com and look for the yellow carton at a store near you.
Happy
Egg.
I'm Elena, an autopsy technician.
And I'm Ash, a hairstylist.
And we just love swapping stories about all of the morbid things that fascinate us.
And if you do too, join us on our podcast, Morbid. It's a safe space to let your weirdo flag fly.
On Morbid, we cover dark historical events, sinister science, unnerving paranormal events, and sordid high society murders.
We also dive deep into the most notorious crimes in history.
Our podcast is grounded in rigorous and painstaking research. We're also not afraid to read a
Yeah. We keep it weird because a dash of snark is necessary to get through grotesque true tales of demented minds.
So follow Morbid on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Morbid early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.